Here is my persuasive speech. It's Monday morning. You're a hardworking college student who's going to be on campus all day. You're trying to save money, so you're going to make your own lunch. You could make a PBJ, a tuna sandwich, or a ham sandwich. When you grab your bread to begin making your sandwich, what do you grab? White bread or wheat bread? When we go to the store, we can choose from an array of white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, rye, whole grain, multigrain, buttermilk, my personal favorite. The possibilities are almost endless, but these breads are not all created equally. Today I'll talk about why you should choose whole wheat bread over white bread. I love the buttermilk bread from Walmart. It's so soft and spongy and it's just amazing. But I know it's not the best for me. I've researched this common dilemma that a lot of people have. They want white bread over wheat bread. And I'll give you all the information you need to make the right choice when you walk down the bread aisle. While many people prefer white bread, wheat bread is by far superior in nutritional value and benefits. When given a choice, choose wheat bread. I'll tell you why it's better for you, and how to choose the right kind based on the label, and why people choose white at all. However, you'll wish you never heard this, because now you're going to feel guilty every time you eat white bread, or you walk down the aisle for bread and you grab white bread instead of wheat bread. What is a whole grain? So I say wheat bread, but wheat can be the brown color we assume is good for us, or the white color, which is bleached and all the good things are taken out of it. So according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, a whole grain food must contain all the components of a grain kernel. So the bran, which is the outside, the germ, and then the innermost core of the kernel, in the same proportion found in the kernel. Bonnie Liebman, the author of Nutrition and Action, said in 2005 the government's dietary guidelines advised Americans to make half of your grains whole, or to at least 3 ounces of whole grain cereal, breads, rice, crackers, or pasta every day. However, few of us actually do that. According to Jane Hurley and Bonnie Liebman, this is very few of us Americans actually do this, and most of us just overeat white bread. The market for white bread is much higher than it is for wheat bread. However, the demand for white bread fell 20% between 2005 and 2010, but it still has 35% of the sliced bread market. Whole grains, which are the good kinds that you want, are just 21%, and grab other bag categories is 44%. McGallis, Govani, and Silliman state in their study Whole Grain Foods, a sensory liking related to knowledge, attitude, or intake, that while we know the benefits of whole grain, our consumption of them as a society remains low, much lower than the recommended amount, but our consumption of refined grains is higher than it should be. They also state that our choice between whole grains or refined grains is often based upon the appearance, texture, and flavor. Like I said, I choose buttermilk bread because it's soft and it retains its moisture well so it doesn't dry out. It's not seedy, it's nice and smooth when I eat it. However, it's not very nutritious for me. So the benefits of whole grain bread are that they have lots of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and health-promoting fibers, which are lost in white bread when the bran and germ are stripped away in the refining process. Whole grains are not only essential for their energy and nutrients, but also associated with improved digestive health, protection from cardiovascular diseases, type 2 diabetes, and satiety, so it keeps you full. And then McGallis, Govani, and Silliman state are the ones that said that. Liebman also says that there's some evidence that whole wheat can lower heart disease, stroke, diabetes, obesity, and constipations, and there is no evidence that refined or a whole wheat grain that has been heavily refined can offer those same benefits. However, these are still uncertain. More studies need to be run, but despite these uncertainties, Liebman says most researchers are convinced that replacing refined grains with whole grains is wise. Why not? She quotes Jacob, who says, "I'm 100% in favor of encouraging people to eat whole grains. I go back to the theory that phytochemicals, as bundled in plant foods, are good until proven otherwise. And experts note there's no evidence that refined grains lower the risk of disease or obesity, while, of course, whole grains do. Encouraging people to buy bread where the first ingredient is wheat, whole wheat, will clearly do no harm, and there's pretty strong evidence that it will be beneficial for heart disease and diabetes. So, now that you're convinced that you should choose whole grain wheat bread over refined wheat bread, got to help you know what's on the label. So whole wheat, multigrain, good whole source of grain, 8 grams of whole grain, they're not very helpful to you. You got to know what they mean. And that comes from reading the label. If you read the label and the first ingredient is whole grain, you're good. But if the second ingredient is refined grain, not good. Alice Park, author of The Truth About Whole Wheat and Whole Grain Bread, says multigrain says nothing about whether grains are whole or refined. Any food containing even a sprinkling of more than one grain can use the term regardless of how nutritious or not nutritious those grains may be. Then, according to Jane Hurley and Bonnie Liebman, it says ignore all other whole grain claims. Made with grain, 12 grain, multigrain, or wheat, good source of whole grain and 8 grams of whole grain are usually code for not much grain. So again, you need to make sure that there's really whole grain in there. You need to look at the label. Majalis, Giovanni, and Silliman state in their study, the Whole Grain Council has produced a whole grain stamp that is put on packaged food with 51% or greater whole grain content, but not all consumers are aware of the meaning of the stamp. I myself don't even know what the stamp looks like. I've never heard of it. Maybe I've seen it and I just have no idea what it means. So it's important that we as consumers know these things are out there. In conclusion, you need to know more about, you need to choose whole grain over refined grains because they're more nutritious and they're better for you in general. And white grain, refined grain, is not better for you. So next time you go to Walmart, walk past those white bread options and choose the healthier whole grain option.